Welcome to the Shifting Inward podcast, where we explore the mindset blocks that keep entrepreneurs stuck. Your mind is one of the most powerful tools at your disposal. Your thoughts shape your actions, and your actions drive your success. When you shift what's happening internally, everything externally starts to move. Hi, I'm Joe Rizk, and in this episode, we're discussing emotional avoidance. When you dodge difficult feelings instead of dealing with them, and how that keeps you stuck. So let's get into it. Emotional avoidance is when you actively avoid or suppress difficult emotions instead of processing them. Fear, doubt, shame, rejection, uncertainty. When these feelings show up, you push them away. You distract yourself. You stay busy. You disconnect. You make decisions specifically to dodge the discomfort. And here's the thing. Avoidance works in the short term. If you don't want to feel rejected, don't put yourself out there. If you don't want to feel uncertain, don't make the risky decision. Problem solved, right? Wrong. Because the emotions don't go away. They just sit under the surface, influencing every choice you make. And the strategies you use to avoid them, procrastination, distraction, withdrawal, denial, those strategies keep you stuck. Emotional avoidance isn't a character flaw. It's a survival mechanism. Difficult emotions can be deeply uncomfortable, sometimes overwhelming, and your instinct is to escape them. But avoiding them costs you momentum, clarity, and growth. Because you can't go around discomfort. You have to go through it. So what does emotional avoidance actually look like in your business? Maybe you avoid hard conversations with clients. You know you need to set a boundary or address an issue, but the discomfort feels unbearable, so you let things slide. You tolerate bad behavior. You stay silent even when you should speak up, and the resentment builds. Maybe you don't look at your finances. Opening your bank account brings up anxiety, shame, or fear, so you avoid it. You stay in the dark, and you're making business decisions without knowing where you actually stand. Maybe you launch something new, and when it doesn't take off immediately, you call it a failure and move on. You tell yourself the offer wasn't good enough, but really, you're avoiding the discomfort of sticking with something through the slow phase. So you quit before you give it a real chance because quitting feels easier than sitting with the doubt. Here's another one. You stay busy to avoid feeling. You fill every moment with tasks, meetings, research, content creation. You convince yourself you're being productive, but really you're running from something. Maybe it's fear of failure. Maybe it's the sense that you're inadequate. Maybe it's shame or the weight of responsibility. Whatever it is, staying busy keeps you from having to feel it. Or maybe you avoid visibility. You know you need to show up, post content, go live, speak up. But the fear of judgment feels too intense, so you stay hidden. You tell yourself you're not ready, but really you're avoiding the emotional exposure that comes with being seen. And here's what happens. The avoidance becomes the problem. The emotions you're trying to escape don't disappear, they just build up. And the strategies you use to dodge them keep you stuck in patterns that limit your growth. So where does this come from? Emotional avoidance starts early. Maybe you grew up in an environment where emotions weren't safe to express, where being sad was met with toughen up, or being angry was dismissed as overacting. So you learned to push feelings down, and now as an adult, your default is to avoid. Or maybe you experienced something painful, loss, failure, or rejection, and the emotions felt unbearable. So you made an unconscious decision. Never let yourself feel vulnerable again. So you build walls, you stay busy, and avoidance becomes your protection. And for entrepreneurs, there's another layer. You're carrying a lot. The pressure to succeed, the fear of letting people down, the weight of uncertainty. And sitting with those emotions feels dangerous. Like if you let yourself feel them, you'll just fall apart. So you keep moving. You stay in motion because as long as you're busy, you don't have to feel how scared or overwhelmed you really are. There's also this culture narrative that emotions are weak, that successful people don't let feelings get in the way. So when difficult emotions show up, you interpret them as a problem to fix, not something to process. But here's the truth. Avoiding emotions doesn't make them disappear. It just makes them louder. They show up as procrastination, as self-sabotage, as burnout, as decisions made from fear instead of clarity. And here's the deeper issue. Emotional suppression isn't selective. When you consistently shut down difficult emotions, fear, doubt, or shame, you're dulling your overall emotional capacity. The same mechanisms that block pain also block positive emotions. You lose access to joy, excitement, and fulfillment. You end up emotionally numb, going through the motions, disconnected from both the struggle and the meaning behind your work. So if you've noticed a lack of joy or excitement in your business lately, like you're just going through the motions, emotional avoidance might be exactly what you're experiencing. So let's reframe this. Emotions aren't the problem, avoidance is. The fear, the doubt, and the uncertainty. Those feelings are information, and when you avoid them, you're ignoring valuable data about what you need and what's actually going on beneath the surface. So here's the shift. You don't have to fix the emotion, you just have to feel it. Approach it with curiosity instead of judgment. Sit with it, acknowledge it, name it, and ask yourself, what is this feeling telling me? When you do that, the emotion loses its grip. It stops controlling your decisions from the shadows. And here's another shift. Feeling the emotion doesn't mean drowning in it. You can feel fear and still take action. You can feel doubt and still move forward. The emotion doesn't have to stop you. It just needs to be acknowledged. And here's the truth. Avoidance keeps you stuck. Processing moves you forward. When you allow yourself to feel what's underneath, whether it's the fear of failure or the shame of not being enough, you create space for something new. You stop running, you stop hiding, and you start building from a place of honesty instead of pretense. So how do you actually stop avoiding your emotions? First, name the feeling. When something feels uncomfortable, pause and identify it. Is it fear, shame, doubt? Naming the emotion takes some of its power away. Second, create a space to feel it. Set aside 5 minutes. Sit with the emotion without trying to fix it. Let it be there. Notice where you feel it in your body. You don't have to do anything with it. Just acknowledge that it exists. Third, ask, what is it trying to tell you? Emotions are messengers. Fear might be telling you that something matters. Doubt might be signaling that you need more clarity or support. Listen to what the emotion is saying. Fourth, take action anyway. You don't have to wait for the emotion to go away before you move forward. Feel the fear and launch anyway. Feel the doubt and post anyway. Action doesn't require the absence of emotion, it just requires willingness. Fifth, build emotional literacy. Start journaling. Talk to someone you trust. Work with a coach or therapist. The more you practice identifying and processing emotions, the less scary they become. And finally, remind yourself, emotions are temporary. They rise, they peak, and they pass. When you stop avoiding them and let them move through you, they lose their hold. You don't have to run from what you feel. You can sit with it, learn from it, and move forward anyway. If this resonated, drop a comment and share your story. Do you struggle with emotional avoidance in your business? What helped you process difficult emotions instead of running from them? I'd love to hear about it. And I invite you to join our free school community to connect with other entrepreneurs who are breaking through mindset blocks and supporting and celebrating each other's growth. Link in the description. I'm Joe, and I help entrepreneurs shift inward so they can move forward. See you next time.